Go Tigers, 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 go Tigers. Gerry!
この惑星の子供たちと呼ばれる存在には
おはようございます。
超授業だリンやそう
全身でぶつかっていかなくてはならない。
虫よかったら付き合って
声が小さい。
ただ
教師としてあるまじきそういう
この惑星の教育は加減が難しい。
でも君はいい教師になる。
缶コーヒーのボスレインボーマウンテン。
I heard Discovery Zone's got this excellent new Men in Black laser adventure. Save the Earth from the slime of the universe, and they'll make you an honorary MIB agent. There's this video wall, and birthdays are blasted DZ. They're almost everywhere. Are you ready for the new DZ?
Welcome to the Bombadcast.
What's going on, Bombad fam? You know who it is. It's me, your boy, Scotty Gerry. Let's get this over with. Every Thursday, you got this show. It's great, fantastic bit. Every other Saturday, you got this show. It's great, it's fantastic. Every Wednesday, you got this show. It's great, fantastic. What's going on, Gerry? How we doing? Did we enjoy the movie? Was it great?
I'm pretty good. It was pretty great. It was
a great movie. I really had no idea I'd enjoy it as much as I did, but every second counted. It felt huge, and I will be honest with you, because I have a hard 11 o'clock out from Boss Man in the other room, and I will say wholeheartedly, this was the best Marvel music ever. Holy cow, it was John Williams to me level of just like unique. Yeah. Well done. I mean,
and I mean the way that they included some of the, and again, so this is full spoilers, which who knows how many spoilers we're even going to be able to get into, because me and Scotty we're about to turn into pumpkins. I've been up since 5 in the morning. And I worked till 5 p.m. And Scotty is also like, we're burning the candle at both ends. I mean, look at us.
This movie was way longer than it should have been. I think it was a long movie. There was some good parts to it, but
it was a quick one for me. It was a lot I didn't realize until it was over. Like, oh, that was a good chunk of my life.
Yes, that was like 2 hours and 45 minutes. That was a long movie. Yeah. I did not think we'd be going on this late. I thought we'd be going like 9:30, but we were going at 10:30. Oh my god.
Well, and maybe we'll have to do like a more in-depth something maybe for Patreon or something. You know, I'll go ahead and I'll put that out there.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm down. I'm down for that.
I have a conversation.
I went into this movie because I only watched each trailer once.
Just initial reaction.
I went into this movie, you know, how are they going to address what happened? You know, how is this going to, you know, connect to the overall story of Black Panther?
Right.
What is it? What, you know, and this is ultimately what's it going to mean to the Black community? And I mean that wholeheartedly. Like, this movie's got to make progress, because the first Black Panther like made waves. I mean, literally, it made waves among a community that you know needs more recognition. And
that was before everything that happened with George Floyd and everything that's gone on since the pandemic, even. And so it's, you know, it like there's. You're right. This story needed to be something special,
especially when after he died in 2020. Like, this movie needed to do a lot for the real life aspect, but also for a lot for the story too. And like, I sat there with the idea of like I guess you can say, a South American or a Mexican, I guess version of Wakanda existing with Namor. That was incredible. I did not expect that at all.
Right back to like what was like Mayan,
early Mayan civilization with the and the clam being their version of Wakanda Forever. I was like, oh my god, that
they're doing everything to make them. And again, at the end, there's a essentially Martha moment where it's like we're not so different, you and I. We have between the two leads and everything.
So good.
So one of my favorite scenes.
He felt very Kylo Ren. Namor felt very Kylo Ren. Yeah.
I really, really enjoyed Namor. Again, so one of the first, if not the first, Marvel characters actually, and finally getting his big screen debut.
Yeah,
and I went to see it with my buddy Justin from work, and he actually is a self-proclaimed big Namor fan. That was his first. He loved Namor the most right off the bat. He was over the moon with this. He said they did it perfectly. The action sequences with him, like that one where he's bouncing, where he's flying around the planes, taking out the planes, jumping into the water and coming out and doing like not 10 years ago you couldn't have done winged feet like Hermes.
And that looked good.
The god, and it was epic. Like when she takes the wing off at the end, like one of the wings, I was like,
part of it. I know. Had to hurt. And when he said the line, he says, "I'm a mutant." He also addressed the fact that he did the whole mutant. I was like,
which that is in the comics as well. He's the first mutant apparently. And I've been getting the Namor.
That's cool.
From my buddy.
Namor lore. Namor lore.
The Namor. So I think one of my favorites is, and again, we have to rewatch this, and we're going to have to talk about this again in depth some other time.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed the scene where he's talking about his history, and he says we went to bury my mother in her homeland. And they've enslaved the people and all that. And when that kid lifts off the ground, it was the most hard ass thing I had ever seen in a Marvel movie. And then like the place is burning.
Yeah,
he gets his name from the priest saying, "You're a child without love."
Devil, child without love.
Oh, that was.
Well, the one part,
I don't know what else to say except for like that made my brain go burr. It was like, bro.
God, it was the part where the priest like did the sign of the cross the second they showed up. I'm like, this is so colonizing. This is so. Oh God, there was some unsettling stuff.
I love how they talk about Everett Ross. The humor with the colonizer humor with Everett Ross,
so good,
is freaking hysterical. The
way,
my God, I had to see my favorite colonizer. Then she goes, "A colonizer in chains." Now I've seen everything. He's so pitch perfect. It's so pitch perfect.
God, and Valentina, man. That was a good little moment.
Got a big. Well, and also, did she say that she was his ex-wife?
Yes. That's a thing.
Huge.
That is a thing.
I was like,
God.
Wait, hold on.
And then she let herself in. They let herself in, and she bugged the beads. I was like, Jesus Christ!
I've been privy to all your conversations.
Well, it's so cool. The lady next to me, who was sitting next to me during the movie, she's like, "Who am I supposed to know who that is?" Because I guess she hasn't watched TV shows. I leaned in and I told her, I said, "She's like the evil version of Nick Fury." Like she's getting together the anti-Avengers, and she's like, "Oh shit!" And she leans in, she's telling her other friend that she's with, and they're like, "No way!" I'm like, "Yeah, this is like a big deal." Like to have her be so heavily evolved in this movie means that her role is only going to just skyrocket. And I think it's what's Thunderbolts? Is that going to be the name of their
Thunderbolts is going to be her thing. That's going to be her thing with General Ross. Yeah, they're gonna have their own version of the Avengers, and like you're like that's a good way to explain to someone. But I mean, it's the anti-hero type of thing. Everyone's favorite. Everyone loves anti-heroes because they can do bad stuff and still be good.
Yeah, heroes.
But they're still basically heroes. They just say the F word more.
goodness.
But no, the whole this tied together thing. So I don't know. Like, is this the last movie of Phase 4?
Mm-hmm. It is.
This is a great cap.
Oh, yeah, it
This
really
is a great cap to it.
This is
and the comparison I will make is this feels like the Winter Soldier of this phase.
Oh my, Troy Jar. So Troy, I watched it with Troy, and we
Troy,
literally
I just saw he said, "Yep."
Yep. He literally said that. We said that when we first got there, where we were thinking it was going to be like this, and it was. Like, I guess we're full spoilers, so anyone that has not seen it, you should definitely leave. But when they go, like Nick, you need to go. Like, this is a huge spoiler that I'm about to drop.
Spoiling.
This is a massive spoiler.
Nicholas.
This is when the theater went, what? When this happened. So bye, Nick. You've been warned. But
please tell us you're gone. No,
I gotta be quiet too, because Katie can't hear it. I'm gonna whisper it. When they go to the ancestral plane, and it's fucking Killmonger.
I lost my.
Because
and he's like,
he is the
chose
rightful
me.
heir. Uh-huh.
Oh,
I am not gonna lie. The theater
so
I was
much
in,
tea.
You're gonna love this too. So and it was this is just really cool. The screening I went to, it was also part of a fraternity, a black fraternity and a black sorority event. They made an event out of this premiere night.
Oh, dude, that's
so our
cool.
theater was packed. It was so sick. They dressed up in traditional African garb. So I'm in this movie,
rad.
and like when that moment happened, it like the theater went like freaking insane. But it makes sense too for Shuri, because all Shuri wants is revenge. That's it.
Well, I mean, it's the whole thing. Like, what is it? What's the other hero? Spider-Man, for corn's sakes.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we've got like so many heroes so many people have lost so much. We've lost so much. People complain about this. Oh, this isn't like blah, blah, blah. This whole thing was about, listen, we beat Thanos. We're still effing losing.
And they mentioned him
still losing.
Again. They mentioned him again in this movie. I love that. That's the thread, you know? And I mean, obviously we could talk about the very end of this movie to kind of close the thing out. I mean, we still got 10 minutes, I would say. But watching this movie felt like, you know, they had so much they needed to do, and they did so many unexpected things. Especially, here's another spoiler. For anyone that hasn't seen it, I really advise you going, because the emotion
go away.
The emotional climax is when, of course, Queen what's her name? I want to say Angela Bassett. I know I don't remember her actual name.
Just say Angela Bassett.
When she drowns from Namor, I was like,
saving Ironheart.
Yeah, saving
Riri Williams. Oh. By the way, how rad was Riri Williams in this? Like,
Amazing.
How rad was Ironheart?
Amazing.
Like, at the end, so cool.
Oh my
I'm so excited for Ironheart.
That finale
this has made me excited for everything to come.
Yes, and we were talking about that too on the way home. Like, we have a lot to look forward to. But the one thing I will say, and maybe you'll agree with me, and I don't know, I think you maybe made this connection in my head. The thing about Phase 4 that I have not gotten the most joy out of is that when you watch phases 1 through 3, you felt that the connecting factor was the stones. Like, you kind of felt like they were always there. They always, went into the plot. Now, I don't know what this, I'm not saying that it needs a MacGuffin, but I'm saying it needs, maybe it's love and loss. Maybe that's the whole theme of Phase 4. But like,
I feel like it's something deeper. Like
it's not as much as a tangible thing. So you're watching these movies, and we talked after, Troy and I'm like, it didn't really have the MCU, like a lot of these movies can have. You know what I mean? Like that deep, like super connecting thread. But with this one, I mean, like emotionally, I mean, this movie put you through the ringer. I mean, like,
from the very beginning.
Did you cry?
I was tearing up a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know if I was just, again, I am exhausted, so tears may not come out of the ducts because the ducts are overworked right now.
That makes sense.
But I mean, from the opening, like just the funeral of T'Challa.
See,
that
hit.
That whole process. It's like I knew what it was,
again.
and then, but like, did you cry in that, or was it was more just like?
It was for the first time, which I was expecting a triumphant opening, but for the first time with the silent Marvel, title card.
It was,
and
you could hear a pin drop.
And dude,
in my theater,
and it was just him. I was like,
it's a moment of silence.
Not was crying. That's not was crying. I'm like, this is just powerful. Like, because it didn't, I don't know. Like, I think the last time we had that was Infinity War, but at least there was like audio of like chaos happening in that one. This is the first one where it was just like pure silence and like just him and all of his some BTS shots of him laughing. I was like, oh my god. And then
when but it opens up on her trying to save him, right?
God. Oh, and it was undisclosed, which was cool because just like when he passed, it was undisclosed, no one really knew about it.
But then to have that emotional gut punch of all of the loss we experience in this movie, the rise of Technoclon, or I'm trying to remember the exact name of the society, and Namor, but also to reach the very end, she finally burns her the mourning clothes in. That's basically tradition of, or that's the ritual of, I'm done with this mourning period. I'm moving into a different relationship with these loved ones.
I was so glad they didn't do the CGI Chadwick Boseman. I was definitely afraid.
I was wondering if they were going to.
Oh, I was so worried. I was like, can they pull it off if they do it? And then no. Better.
It's way more tasteful that they did that, because this is, and there's, you can argue about anything with like the Star Wars stuff that they've done or whatever with Carrie Fisher and all of that. I think there's extenuating circumstances for a lot of, like, Carrie Fisher was a woman of older age. It was a year or so. Like it was a long time before they did like recreations of her. And with I'm trying to think of that, like the Tarkin has had quite a bit of distance. But you think about Chadwick Boseman, how close it was to everything when it happened in the middle of this pandemic. That honestly is still not done.
No,
it's
it's
still
not.
truly not done.
No, it's not.
It's just people are just we're kind of moving along. But I'm glad that they didn't as well, because I was wondering what they were going to do. I'm like, are we going to, am I going to be, I don't think I would have been necessarily upset,
so tasteful,
but I think that this was way more, it's way more tasteful. It was way more,
it sets up for another generation. And of course it gives, and this is the best part, it gives young kids who are African-American or Black, or however I guess you could say it, something to be able to look forward to and then identify with, which is like
the American kids.
Ultimately, everyone ultimately makes that better for anyone that wants to be inspired. Like, I do love that Shuri got the I guess rightful heir of Black Panther. That was perfect. I love that. But to then set up, young Avengers, to then set up other generations who can enjoy this story later.
When Nakia shows up behind her in that post credit, in that mid credit,
you see that little kid,
and you see the kid, that's when I think I got the most feels and like teared up the most, is when he goes, "I'm T'Challa, son of King T'Challa."
And that's what the Queen wanted to tell her about the fire. You remember that when she was like, "I've got something to tell you.
I have something to tell you." Yeah, and then Namor shows up. But Nakia talking about, hey, we talked about this, me and me and T'Challa. And this is, we decided we wanted him to grow up far away from that pressure.
Yep.
Holy shit, man. But I mean, it's just beautiful. Beautiful ending.
No one knows about him except for now just Shuri.
Shuri,
the greatest
Auntie
thing
Shuri
in the world. And like, you
can be
do
such a good auntie.
you can do so much with the third movie with that idea. Like he gets kidnapped or something happens. Like there's so many things now to where you can like really like include that person, that kid, as a much deeper character. And they found a kid that looked just like Chadwick Boseman. Same like facial structure, same like mouth and smile. Like, oh my God. Like you I mean, they always outdo themselves, but like for them to end on the thing burning and then you see the credits roll, and I'm like, what's this mid-credit scene gonna be? Like, how good can it be? Like, is it gonna set up the next movie? Even better. It finalizes the movie you're watching. It like perfectly puts a bow on it.
And like, I read a little bit of an article, they didn't want to burden this with, look, we watched the movie, we made our film, we told our story. We're not going to do some little teaser at the end.
No, nope.
Because again, this one was for Chadwick. 100%. And I think they honored him greatly, and it was all of us needed that.
Yeah.
And this is a man. This is a person who had his own
real
life and
person.
everything. We're not. We don't know him, but he meant something to all of us.
And and he dedicated. You got to think good. Like even through these movies, he was struggling with this illness, and he dedicated his time to making sure that kids and people were inspired by this character. And then it continued through. And Troy brought up a great comment.
I was gonna bring that one up. Just about to.
Amazing.
M'Baku is incredible. Like whenever, and I was one of the things that warmed my heart was when he said, "Your brother and I talked about how he wants me to be here for you." Oh man, M'Baku is one of my favorite like characters just in the entire MCU.
Yeah,
and everything. Like when he like from the moment he shows up, he's very like
eating the
we
carrot.
will go get this. I say let's get this fish man and kill him.
That's so good. So good. There was some things that honestly felt super Star Wars too in this. And I know this is a Star Wars centric show, but like there was just some really like Utagunga, like that felt like, tis a hidden city, man. And had that vibe. And there was one line that I thought was very peculiar about, they said it's the power of the sun, underwater, when he described that thing. And I'm like, a little like that's a little Takaki to me. I don't know. And the palm of my hand.
So one thing I really liked about it, and we can end very shortly because I know you need to go and I need to get in bed. But I loved how they did like underwater was so dark. The underwater scenes were incredible. They were so tense. So murky, but like it felt that it added realism.
I was gonna say it felt really realistic. Like when you see a movie, and we saw the Avatar trailer before it. Like the water was super crystal blue, even when they were deep, it's super crystal. But like realistically, when you go deep in the ocean, it gets a bit more murky because of the particles and the sand.
You can't see.
You can't see anything. And so when they go in that
scary
cavern,
down there.
Yeah, and like that, they proved that too. The fact that they had a Wakandan like plant. And they did ayahuasca essentially. Whenever they it out, I was like, yo, like,
bro,
little DMT baby,
Well, like, okay, so also the introduction of the technical, like, just all of them, where they attacked that ship. It was that was horror. That was incredible. That was the thing. That was the abyss. That was like, we are like when it was so tense, so well done. I was actually terrified to see what was down there, even though I know it's just, and there was the weird like jellyfish too.
The choral singing they did. Whoa.
Oh, that was okay. Again, and that they did that and was like sirens, like the siren song. And that what you mentioned the score, it became part of the score, even though that's what they were singing, and it was so
diegetic music,
beautiful.
God,
it was it was terrifying. The whole scene was terrifying when people like just the whole thought of being hypnotized to just walk into the ocean. Like no. But no, this movie was great. It honored Chadwick, and you guys need to go see it. And
it is. I need to end. Well, you're gonna go to bed. So I'm sure we'll have friends that are going to cover this much more in depth. I'm sure T-Nap will. I'm sure Alden will
check
in
out,
some capacity.
go check out.
I'm
Nerd
sure
Academy,
Trey and Bill might like this movie. Really, for me, like you said, put a bow on the end of Phase 4. But also, to me, besides like Spider-Man and Thor: Love and Thunder, these were like this was like top for me. This was like reinvigorating. This felt real. This felt tangible. Yeah, that was.
It felt like it
took
movie. Steps towards what we're going to see in the future. It makes me excited to see Namor actually team up.
Yeah, because that's what it's going to be
with the good guys. Because he is ultimately
inevitably a good guy.
Yeah.
God.
And I'm excited for that. They showed the Quantumania trailer beforehand. I'm
amazing.
Psyched that comes out like a week before my birthday or a week or two before my birthday.
Yeah, you're right. February. That's true. I forget.
It's going to be a good year. We got a lot of good stuff coming. Anyway, the MCU is still doing great. It's still fine.
It's doing great. I can't wait to see what's next. But thank you everyone for joining this evening. And remember, Jerry, what should they do?
Stay Bombad and go to bed.
It's such a fast episode. Just go to sleep, guys. We're gonna go to bed.
What are you still doing up?
Did you say impossible? Pasquale? Only kidding, Chucky. I've changed my tune because I finally thought of a possible dream that we can all share.
What is it? Pasquale?
It's a dream about a world when nobody is poor or sick or hungry.
Oh, now that's a dream we can make come true.
I'm gonna make a change for once in my life. It's gonna feel real good, gonna make a difference, gonna make it right.
As I point up the collar on my favorite winter coat, this wind is blowing my mind.
I see the kids in the street with not enough to eat. Who am I to be blind, pretending not to see their need? A soundless disregard, a broken bottle top,
and a one-man soul. They follow each other on the wind, 'cause they got nowhere to go. That's why I want you to know I'm starting with a man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways, and no message could have been any clearer.
If you wanna make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make a change.
I'm starting with the man in the mirror.
Oh yeah,
I'm asking him to change his ways.
come on, change. No message could have been any clearer. If you wanna make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make a change. I'm starting with the man in the mirror. Oh yeah,
I'm asking him to change his ways.
no message could have been any clearer. If you wanna make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make a change.
Time for us to take a break, but we wouldn't dream of being gone for long.